So the weather has changed, the sun is split in the sky, something we don't see a lot of here in Britain, so if you fancy a convertible, you better do it soon. Therefore, I thought it was timely to put together a list of the convertibles that I would buy with my own money from £1,000 to £20,000. Let's go. Okay, so kicking us off at £1,000, not a lot of money in today's car terms. Even 10 years ago, you got a heck of a lot more for your money at this kind of budget than you do nowadays. Nevertheless, I think I have found one and I know what I'd be buying. No, it's not an MX-5. That's too easy and probably too rusty. Mark 1 Audi TT, this is where I'd be going. So for a little over £1,000, you can pick one of these up. Okay, it might be one of the front-wheel drive 1.8 turbos at that lower end of the budget, but these are still criminally underrated for how good they are to drive. You bump up that budget a little bit and you might even find one of the sonorous VR6 versions. They sound amazing. Now, they're an all aluminium body, so they don't rust like some of the alternatives at this price point do. What you do want to be on the lookout for, though, is oil leaks from the engine, and honestly, I'd probably avoid that DSG gearbox that they came with. That was a really early dual clutch. They can have problems, they can get expensive, and honestly, I think I'd just enjoy a manual a little bit more. So for me, it'd be a manual Mark 1 TT on a £1,000 budget. Avoid the DSG, and if budget allows, get the VR6 engine. Next. Now, if you've got £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 to spend on your convertible, this is where we can start to get access to some of the real big name brands, namely Porsche. Now, where my money would be going would be into a 986 Porsche Boxster. Requires a bit of a brave pill. I say that because although they're generally pretty reliable, when they do go wrong, Porsche part prices are what you would expect, rather expensive, so does require a bit of a brave pill, but the car's worth it, believe me. Now, I have done a completely comprehensive buyer's guide on the 986 Boxster right here on this channel. I'll link to that at the end of this video as well. You can check that out then, so watch on. Now, as your budget continues to get higher and we start to move into these more complicated cars, it's all the more important that you do a proper history check on the car that you're considering buying. Now, the one that I'll always use personally is vehiclescore.co.uk. I really like this service because it allows you to put the plate of the car that you're interested in and get details for completely free. You don't need to part with a penny if you don't want to. However, if you are planning on buying one of these cars, you should do an HPI report. I'm going to drop a 15% discount voucher in the description below, along with a link, so you can make sure your next purchase is a good one. Don't say I'm not good to you. Okay, next, so you've got £9,000 or £10,000 to be spending on your convertible. Now, as a self-confessed Honda fanboy, my money would only go one place on this budget, and that is the S2000. Exhilarating engine, bulletproof reliability, all wrapped up in a two-seater convertible. Now, their price has risen in recent years, making it not quite the bargain that it once was, but still a phenomenal car and absolutely worth this price point. Now, as with many Japanese cars of this era, rust is probably the biggest worry here, so be mindful of that when you're viewing one of these cars. Although, if you have a look at the MOT history that'll be on the vehiclescore.co.uk report that you got, that should give you a pretty good idea of if it's had rust problems in the past. So at £15,000, our car options are really starting to open up and we can get access to some really quite exciting stuff. However, there is one car. Now, I've not owned one of these. I have driven one a couple of times and absolutely loved it. There's one car that at £15,000 I just couldn't see past. It's reliable, it's got an amazing soundtrack, it's pretty fast, and proportionally, I think they absolutely nailed it. It's the SLK 55. Now, these have got that wonderful warbly AMG noise of yesteryear before everything went turbocharged. And yeah, I just really like these. Now, there were a lot of Mercs of this era that had really complicated air suspension and electronics. they all started to go wrong, and as such, you can pick them up for pennies. Some of like the older CL55s and stuff are, you know, pick them up for next to nothing because they're completely unreliable. The SLK was not one of them. It was actually a relatively simple car, and as such, it's remained pretty reliable. That's why it commands that price. But honestly, I think they're worth it. I think these are really exciting little cars. Now, at a smidge more, £18,000 budget, the first four-seater that we've got on the list here, it's the B7 Audi RS4. V8 engine shared with the Audi R8, quattro all-wheel drive, and an image that to me has just aged so gracefully. They look purposeful, they look aggressive without being too ostentatious, just beautiful cars all around. Now again, I've done a really comprehensive buyer's guide on this channel for the B7 RS4. I'll link to it at the end. But in a nutshell, one of the things you need to be careful of on these, that engine, it can tend to coke up, as it's known in the industry. That's when it starts to get choked with carbon. So you do need to budget in what's known as a carbon clean from time to time. But it's all in the buyer's guide if you're interested in seeing that. Not a reason to be put off of the car though. They are wonderful. Now, final car, our 20k budget car. What's it going to be? Well, again, this is purely my opinion. Yours is probably going to differ, and I should have said this already in the video, but please do let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to know what you would buy at any of these price points. But for me, 20k, I'm looking for something fairly modern, something super reliable, something that's fun to drive and made to a decent standard. Now, one car that fits all those categories is the BMW M4. And that is where my money would go. Again, we've got a comprehensive buyer's guide of one of these on the channel. I'll link to it in just a moment here, or you can go off and search it yourself. We go into all the problems that they tend to have in detail, so that will really help you out if you are looking to buy one of these. Now, a special shout out to the purists amongst us here. That 20k budget could also get you an E92 or E93, as they're known in convertible form, BMW M3, if that high revving, naturally aspirated engine is more your thing, rather than the M4's turbocharged engine. But there you have it. That's my complete list from £1,000 to £20,000, all the convertibles that I would buy with my own money. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Give this video a like, and if you've enjoyed it, consider subscribing to the channel as well. I'll see you for the next one.